Hello. Yada yada oh. Mic check check 1 2 3.
Hello,
3 2 1. All right. All right. Put some of the smoke. Okay. Let's see.
You called yourself Liz at one time too. I thought I was gonna.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Yeah. I just like messing with them, throwing them off like that. Let's see.
Mr. Washburn.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to the first episode of the Gamechat podcast. Today we're gonna do Sunset Riders, and
Good old arcade game from Konami.
there you go. We're discussing Sunset from Riders, originally released on the arcade game in 1991 by Konami. It's in the style of an old spaghetti western shooter where you play as bounty hunters. You can play with the 4 people whose names are Steve, Billy, Bob, or I can't remember what that goes.
Yeah, the two. Yeah, we didn't use those two. I can't remember. Because I always either use Steve or Billy back in the day when I played too. So.
And then also it was released in the Mega Drive, the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, and then later it was re-released for the PlayStation 4 and the Switch. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, I got a copy of because Hamster that does arcade archives. They release arcade games so people can play them on the newer systems.
Uh-huh.
I had that copy of that on PS4.
I never knew this game even existed.
Konami made some awesome. Like Konami, I think focuses on. I could be totally wrong about this, but I think they focus on slot machines and different things. They make so much money in Japan for that stuff.
Okay.
They don't focus on their video game stuff. That's why they're out. Like they need to outsource their properties more, like Sega's been doing for other people to make games, newer versions. But that's just me.
All right. So let's get into it. So the first chapter, we're assigned $10,000 bounty reward for Simon Goodwill. Is that what his name is?
Yeah, I think it's something. Yeah, something like
that. Yeah, and he's wanted dead or alive. So you got to go through the level, jumping over things, climbing up balconies to work your way through got to work your way through until you finally reach him. He appears above you on a second-story balcony behind 2 barrels. Guys dropping off all over the place out of windows. Remember this guy?
Yeah, they kept
out of
popping
windows
up the regular
and doors.
guys that try to shoot you.
Yeah, and as you shoot them, and eventually you kill him, and he falls down and says, "Bury me with my money."
Yeah.
Which completes the first level. So what do you think of that? Like, I don't know.
Well, you drop like flies quite a bit. I mean, those kind of games, they're fun as all can be, and they're kind of chaotic because you got all the guys popping out of the windows, and even the stage you're going on. Is that the same stage where you had to like drop down where you got blown up, or you had a fire? You had like a fire on one level, like you got toasted. Or was that the one?
Oh no, that was later.
Oh, okay,
just before one of the bosses.
Because I know there's one of them.
Before El Loco, or
was that the one where the cattle too came? We had to run on top of the cattle, the first stage.
I don't know. There's too many of them.
But yeah, it's the same kind of like. I know a couple of them have horse riding and the train and different things like that. But that one's. Yeah, like you get the barrels out of the way or whatever, like because there's a guy later on. I think Richard Rowe is the main guy. He has statues in front of him. He's shooting from a balcony and jumping around, and you try to jump up there and. Same thing with that guy, but yeah, it's they're fun. It's fun. The game's fun.
It was kind of wasn't a very the boss fights in this game. They're not really too long, which is okay with me because we die so much that it gets annoying anyways. But I'm kind of glad the boss fights aren't they don't take forever.
And I'm happy you could play this stuff on home systems, not just a quarter eating arcade that you put a quarter in. Because how many times I think at one point in the video. I remember watching it again. I said, you had 45 lives. That's you popping a quarter in every time. I just used a roll of quarters to play this game.
Yeah. So you better have had a good allowance back then when that came out. Holy cow! So then the next stage starts off with a $20,000 bounty on Hawkeye. That's it, Hawkeye Hank. All players are on a horse this time, running along the tracks, chasing. Stagecoach, trying to avoid being shot from random people on the horseback.
The train coming by.
And
too, right?
I don't. Yes, I think this is the one the train.
Yeah, it comes by. Yeah, not the one where on the train. It's the one where we're riding horseback, and you gotta the stagecoach.
Oh yeah. This is all players are on a horse this time, running along the tracks, chasing a stagecoach, trying to avoid being shot from random people on horseback and jumping over logs. Because remember the logs?
Yeah.
You had to jump over logs, otherwise I think the horse tripped on him or something, or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, you had to duck down too. If the guy's down below, you had to like you're riding off the horse, pointing down to shoot at the guys down below.
Yeah. This is so you got to jump over logs, being thrown out of the wagon, and avoid being shot from random people on the train. After all that, you finally get to the boss fight with Hawkeye, and he's hiding behind some boxes, jumping all over, and you got to try hitting him while he's constantly moving. I think that's the one. Remember, he'd pop up and you're trying to shoot him. It's almost like one of those mini games.
Oh yeah, the mini game where you had to rotate the.
Yeah. And finally, after like a 5-minute shootout, you kill him. He falls down and says, "You got me."
See, I'm not sure. You know that one. I like the whole idea because it kind of changed the. So it's still it's a run and gun game still.
Yeah.
So that's still it's heart of the game, but being on the horse and moving around and doing that kind of stuff, I thought that was cool too. Like it kind of changes it up a little bit instead of you being on foot.
Yeah, that's kind of cool how they change up the fighting. Well, not really the shooting style, but the playing style.
Yeah,
I guess
the playing style. Yeah.
So after him, you reach a bonus stage, which is where you got to try shoot around 8 different people, ducking in and out of and behind boxes and on the balcony, and in the stagecoach. The winner being who gets the most hits. Remember that's one where there's like 6 guys and they're all hiding behind something and they gotta one pops out and you gotta try. Oh my gosh, that was a nightmare.
I think later on when we did one when it was harder with all the guys, I was just like moving it would be like the joystick around, just go.
Like I don't even think that I was hitting anybody or anything. Like tell you the truth, like I think I might have a couple here and there, but it was happening so fast that I couldn't keep track of where I was aiming and who I was shooting at. I guess there's a pattern though, some kind of a pattern, where they just randomly in a row pop up and down in a circle, but I can't remember if that.
At least those bonus stages, because it made me think about it when I was watching it again. At least with those bonus stages, you don't like die. You just get to the end and see how many guys you can get.
Yeah.
Like with Shinobi, the one that Sega made, they had bonus stages where the ninjas were like trying to go across. You had to throw stars at them, and they try to get closer to you. You still had to get them, but you get points for getting them all. But if they get to you first, the bonus stage ends. At least that one, you don't.
Yeah.
You get toast to that one. You can at least try to see how many guys you could actually get. It has an ending to it, not you getting ended.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Well, I'll wait for my final thoughts. I keep on wanting to say my thoughts on it, but I'm going to wait towards the end so that we can discuss our final thoughts on it. I keep on wanting to, but I'm trying to hold back because I want to discuss what was going on. So stage 3 starts off with a $30,000 reward for Dark Horse.
That's the guy on the horse.
Dead or alive.
It's the guy that's on the horse. We're like outside a saloon or whatever. I think we had to take the guy out on the horse.
And now I can't remember.
I think it's him. Yeah.
And on the board, we have to shoot people from all over, above, behind boxes, and hanging out salon doors. Yeah, so the guys were hanging out all over the place. Remember, because it's almost like I think it's the one where we had to go through. It was like a town.
Yeah.
We're trying to go through a town, and then you get to like a
saloon,
bar.
Yeah, the saloon. And he's on horseback, and you got to take him out when he's right around the horse.
Yeah, and then
you're just standing there trying to jump and shoot.
And shoot people. They're from all over, above, behind boxes, and hanging out the salon doors. They're hanging out the front of the doors there, and eventually you get.
See, I don't know how the ladies can handle that. Salon.
You get to a rope.
I know you keep saying salon. I keep thinking of like every time you say like.
Yeah.
Saloon.
Saloon. I have.
Yeah, the salon.
I have it here, but I can't read my writing. So eventually you get to the rope where you have to climb across it, and there's fire below that. Remember that?
Yeah,
I think that's the part where you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a couple stages where they have stuff, but the rope one you had to climb on the rope to get across. Otherwise, the fire. You get totally fried. It almost looks like a Looney Tune cartoon. You get all burned up, and you guys just like. with the big eyes. Oh,
So eventually you get to the rope where you had to climb across it, and there's fire below you. So then you can't drop down. Then keep going through town, getting shot from all around and above you until you find Dark Horse. You find him on a horse waiting for you. He threatens you with "you're in big trouble," and then he starts to run back and forth, and you have to shoot him. Not not the horse. You have to shoot him, not the horse. In the meantime, other people are hanging out of windows, shooting you all over the place.
yeah.
So we think of that one, like the difficulty of that one, because I think that was one of the longer.
Yeah, that one's
fights.
a little bit harder just because of him. Not just the guys popping up and getting the gunfire or whatever, but
Yeah.
him he kind of like runs you over, shoots at you, and you gotta kind of like jump and
Yeah,
shoot.
I think like is you have to hit him. Like it doesn't count when you hit the horse or something, right?
Yeah, you got to it's got
I think you have
focus
to just
more on him.
focus more on him. So in the meantime, you get everybody else shooting at you all over the place, hanging out the windows, shooting at you. After a 5 minute battle, he slumps over, mumbles something, and is dead. And his horse runs off, and the board is completed. So now we're on to stage 4. And stage 4 starts off. A lady gets thrown out of a saloon and says, "Please help! There's a terrible man," and you get the bounty for $40,000 for the Smith brothers.
Oh yeah, the two guys and then you can hang on the chandelier or the chandelier or whatever in the
Yeah,
saloon.
yeah.
They're like throwing bombs or something
Yeah,
at
you
you.
run in the saloon, and people are all over on the bar standing. There's people on the bar. There's people on the balcony. There's people on the chandelier.
Yeah, you had to take two of them out instead of just one. There's two bosses basically that the brothers are.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they constantly shoot you and drop bombs on you. And then this battle ain't too long. It's only about a 3 minute long battle. Then after about 3 minute battle, you kill them, and the ladies come out and dance for you. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah, your guys out there. You're the one that's like, yay!
They do a little dance
Like
on
going like
stage.
this, you're going like this with your hat. Woo!
So yeah, that's the end of that round 4 or stage 4. Um, After they dance, the ladies tell you a huge reward is being offered for Richard Rose. So this is like almost like a mini, the other ones are bosses, but this one's like a bigger mini boss. This
Yeah,
guy.
the other guys had they said they had the three sidekicks, which are the next three stages.
Yeah.
Their boss basically.
Yeah.
It's his sidekicks or whatever. Which the one guy's like, yeah, I know you're gonna get to it, but yeah, it just made me think of that one guy. We were laughing at that guy.
Yeah.
Because he's like.
Because I want to wait till the end to talk about
Yeah.
how funny that stuff is. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, the ladies also warn you that he has 3 sidekicks with him. Now you are being offered a $100,000 reward for El Greco, Chief Scalpum, and Poco Loco.
Yeah, they all have their own reward, and I think he's the one that's the big reward. Richard Rose at the end.
The next stage starts off on a moving train, jumping up and over boxes from car to car. Every car is different. Got different things on every single one of them. One of them has like logs. One of them is boxes. The other one's barrels.
Yeah, you had to avoid. None of us did. Like I remember watching it again. We didn't avoid, the poles that come by.
Yeah.
You're supposed to jump over, and we all got
Yeah,
killed
because
every time.
how do
it
you
just
do
comes
that?
up. It's like you just have to probably jump over when you're on top of the train. I'm like thinking, there's no way to go down. I was watching it again. I'm like,
Yeah, how the heck are you supposed to
we
jump?
just,
Yeah, I just kept on getting clothesline. I don't remember if you did or not.
yeah, I did.
Oh,
yeah,
did you?
I did.
Okay. So
Get
because I know
knocked
I
off, you get
definitely
knocked off.
did.
You get knocked off the train, like what would happen in real life if you did that.
Yeah.
Like whoa.
So the next stage starts off on moving train, jumping up and over boxes from car to car. Every car is different. Getting clotheslined by the telephone poles until you get to the first boss, El Greco,
He's got a whip.
who has some kind of shield and reflects your bullets.
Looks like he looks like he's got. Is that
It's
the one?
like,
Is that the one that has the whip, or is that the guy with the whip, or is it just the
I
shield?
don't know if it's. I think it's just. I think he only had a shield, but what the heck?
Yeah, I know they had the shield. Is that the
I'm
guy
trying to
with
think
the
what the
whip
heck was
too?
he doing to you? Because I remember he was just sitting there with that big bubble shield. And I can't.
And then,
I can't remember.
I think he whipped you with something too when he got.
See, I don't remember. I don't remember what kind of a weapon he had.
Yeah, I remember the shield thing. You got
I
to
just remember
like
it was a pain in the butt.
get behind it.
Yeah.
You had to get like behind him, like you had to double team to be able to
Yeah.
hit him with the bullets.
Yeah, because the shield was a bullet eater.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even touch him. So we had like the strategies, you had to get behind him and try to get him.
The guy was trying to be Clint Eastwood.
that was about a 3-minute fight. He throws his hat, falls off, then gets run over by the train. I started dying laughing. Did you see that?
Yeah.
When he fell under the train,
Yeah.
and the train just runs him over. And straight into a bonus stage where you got to shoot 6 different guys playing whack-a-mole. Remember they were ducking down behind everything. One was on the roof, one was behind a barrel, one was in the stagecoach, one was somewhere else.
Yeah, right in front of you. Or...
Yeah, so there's like 6 guys, and they're all just, it's like playing whack-a-mole. The person with the most hits wins that one. The next stage, so this is like round 2 for the 3 guys we got to go after. So the next stage starts off, it's an all Indian stage. This is the one I got the biggest kick out of, because it kept on reminding me of like the Bugs Bunny episodes. Yeah. And
yeah, they don't let you watch that one anymore. They don't put that in the compilations. I wish they would, but they don't.
Yeah, so you're shooting Indians everywhere, who are shooting fire or flaming arrows at you. As you make your way up a mountain, you got to go zigzag all the way up the mountain and through a village or something towards the top. You get to.
That thing going down the rope.
They make your way up a mountain, then get into a escalator, going back down. And once you get to the bottom, you are greeted by Chief Scalpum, who then says one of the most racist lines possible. He says, "Me ready for powwow." I can say that because I'm Native American.
It's funny. It's just it's a Japanese-made game too, so they don't really it's like
they ain't gonna know.
American culture. And they're just trying to make something that American audiences would
they relate to. It was back 20 years ago when it came out, or 30 years ago when it came out. 30
years ago.
It wasn't that big of a deal. People could relate to it. Everybody thought it was funny. So he's wielding 2 swords that shoot some kind of sparks or something. I couldn't figure out what the heck he was doing.
Yeah, he's like jumping around and.
Yeah, but what was? Do you know what he was doing? Like, was he shooting sparks, or was he
throwing? Like, he
was doing something. Something was getting. I couldn't figure out what the heck he was doing. But, anyways, jumping and flipping all over the place. After about a 2-minute battle, his sister comes running out to the rescue and begs you not to shoot her brother.
Yeah,
don't shoot my brother. Which
we'll kill you, man.
Yeah, like a true cowboy.
Yeah, we won't do it, man.
So, which then leads to the next boss fight with Paco Loco. I don't even know what that means. We should Google that. What does Paco Loco mean?
Well, Loco's crazy. Loco's crazy.
Yeah. So what is Paco? Maybe it's his name.
Paco, yeah. Paco's
crazy Paco.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it means.
I remember saying a comment when they showed the 3 guys, the sidekicks in the first place, and I made a comment. Paco Loco.
Any Mexican gamers out there? Let us know what that means. I mean, we have a pretty good idea, but
that one's more horseback too, isn't it? Or was it? I can't remember.
Oh yeah. This next one, this next board starts off with riding horses, and I put rigging. It's supposed to be riding. Riding horses and shooting.
We're rigging the fight all right by showing up on horseback.
Yeah. Shooting bad guys all around on horseback as well. After a minute of that, you reach the boss, who is behind a fence shooting you with...
He got a big gun.
Some kind of gun, like a Gatling gun, or
he's got a big gun.
It wasn't like a fast shooter, just a...
the big bullets and stuff like that. And you had to like jump up or hit him at a certain angle because the wall... The fence and stuff was blocking fire from that, so you had.
And then wasn't he like jumping around too, moving different spots.
He had to kind of move around and stuff, and then.
Or he's a pain in the butt.
He fell down.
So after about 3-minute shootout, he finally dies and says "Hasta la bye bye," which makes no sense.
Yeah, we had to blow up the wall to get through it too. I made a comment about like. You know, oh, he's laying right there too, and then it would have. I said something about him. He would have been like shot up after blowing the wall up
Yeah.
with the dynamite.
So after that, you start the next stage. Um,
Water.
looking for Richard Rose. He has a he has a bounty for, was it $100,000?
Yeah, I think he's got the biggest. Yeah, he's got the biggest.
Yeah, $100,000 bounty. Got to work your way up another mountain, using Gatling guns along the way to blow stuff up.
I think I started that stage out by blowing up, you know, because like the huts or whatever, the buildings, and I went up and it.
Yeah, I remember some explosions.
Yeah,
as
I
we
blew
went
up right
and-
away. I was like laughing about that because I like blew that up. I'm like, whoa! I'm like, yeah, that's the way to
That's the
start
way to
the
do
stage
it.
out.
So eventually getting to the top, where he is in a mansion on the second story balcony. So kind of similar to that one fight with the two brothers.
Yeah, and also
in
the
the
first guy that
saloon.
had the barrels blocking
Yeah.
gunfire. Yeah, he had like statues or whatever in front of him, like 3 different things you had to take out.
Oh, okay. So there's like a strategic.
Yeah, and you could jump on the other 2 balconies over here, but he'd like knock you and
Gotcha.
get you. Because we tried that later, you know.
Yeah. So there's actually like a strategic puzzle type thing. In
Yeah,
order
you
to
gotta take
do it
those
right?
out, and then he starts moving around.
Gotcha.
You
Yeah,
want
I don't
jumping
remember. I just
around.
remember.
We had to actually kill him twice, I think, because
Okay.
like we took him out once, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm back," and then he's like jumping around, and
Gotcha. So eventually getting to the top where he's in the mansion on the second story balcony, he jumps down, then back up again, then back down. Then after about a 5 minute fight, he dies. Then the game ends with all four players riding their horses off into the sunset.
Yeah.
The end. That game I think only took us like 25 minutes.
yeah, it wasn't a very
It was 25 or
those
30
games.
minutes.
They would eat quarters like crazy if we paid quarters for that, but there's probably obviously there's people out there that can play a lot better than. We were just trying to have fun and
Oh yeah, yeah.
we didn't care if it was like now if we were I know if we were popping in a machine we'd take it a little bit more seriously because I'm like wait a minute man I gotta
Yeah.
I can't waste my money on this
Yeah, like
because I was a teenager when that game came out. I played it back in the day. I never beat it back then. I beat
Yeah.
it on PlayStation 4 is the first time I beat
okay.
it. Just playing through
Because
it.
I don't remember a whole lot of arcade games. There's very few arcade games that I remember because I was only able to play a few of them here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I would anytime I drove my mom nuts. Like I said it every time, but all the way up from 4 years old, all the way up. If there was an arcade machine somewhere, it didn't matter if it was at a grocery store, at like a convenient or anything else, or amusement park. I'd be. It didn't matter what game it was. I'd try it.
Yeah.
It's an arcade. It's a video game, and they were better still at the time. They were still better than most of the home system stuff. It
So
wasn't until Genesis and Super Nintendo that it was kind of equaling it out a little bit.
gotcha. So overall, like, how do you feel like the gameplay went? Like, what did you think of um, the way the mechanics and the shooting worked? What did you think about the actual gameplay as far as like how good were the boards? Like, how well thought out do you think they were?
They weren't. I mean, the whole concept still is that you're, you know, all over the place with all these guys, but they weren't always the same exact stage. Even though you had to like still take out guys the same way. But,
So it wasn't like cut
like,
and paste.
yeah.
At least
The
those-
two horse, even the two horseback stages weren't identical. The train, you know, like the train through that a little bit different. You know, throwing that in there, and then having to go up the mountainside to get that one guy, and then going down the escalator. You know, the wooden things
Yeah.
on the ropes is a little bit different, and then going all the way up, you know, through the water, and then the buildings are blowing up on the last stage, trying to get up to where he is, up all the way up in that mansion. It's different. It kind of reminded me how they, because Konami, a lot of their arcade stuff is not like even the Turtles game that we played, Turtles in Time. The stages were a little bit different, how they had stuff set up. So it's not exactly, even though to get there, you're still the same kind of gameplay to eliminate the enemies or the computer enemies that you fight. You're still doing the same thing, but it's like to get there is a little bit different, which I appreciate that in a game. It's not just the same cut, you know, like cut and paste
Yeah,
or
exactly,
cookie cutter
Because
stage.
we know a lot of games that do that. like after you play half the game, then all of a sudden then you're playing what you just played, but it's just like they put a
It's
change
like
costumes.
super hard, or they made it like
Yeah.
super hard. Even just and it's the same stuff though. But
So how could this game be better?
I mean, they do have power ups that give you different, like either the double bullet thing out of the guns,
Oh,
or
okay, yeah.
they had more shot. But I wish they would have had like some kind of. Not saying you got to do like some kind of invincibility thing, like, but it's like I get it at the time. They're like some of the games were designed not to necessarily not be fun, but they were also designed to eat quarters. Some
Yeah.
of them. That's how they made their money. But different power ups would have been nice. Like different times during the game would have been nice to get different power ups because as soon as you're gone, you lose the power up. I wish they had more options of like giving you power ups at the time for your weapons and stuff. But
So my thoughts on the game. This is my first time playing it. It was fun, but annoying with how many times you die, which I get because it was a card reader.
yeah,
Um, so in the actual arcade, it would have made sense because it's a card reader, and it's definitely not politically correct, which I found hilarious.
yeah, I appreciate
With
that.
I the nostalgia for that is it is what it is. I
Yeah.
wasn't offended at all. So I loved it. I loved that part. I didn't like the steering of the way the shooting was, but I get it because it was more for the arcade style.
Yeah,
Like it was set up for
yeah,
arcade.
the
Yeah,
joystick, the
exactly,
360. Boom, 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 boom,
exactly.
boom.
So that was kind of like a learning curve for me because I'm not used to that kind of
Yeah, the
style.
run and gun. Yeah, you played Metal
Yeah,
Slug after that, and that's still a run gun, but that's a little bit different. Of yeah, you're going like this, but the way they set up Sunset Riders, it's almost 360. Like most of the stage, you got to do 360 of because even Contra, that's a run and gun, isn't exactly. Yeah, you got to go like this and duck and shoot up and stuff, but it's not like you're all over the place. Like Sunset Riders basically makes you do that all the time, especially on like the horseback stages where you're on you basically gotta because you have enemies at 360
yeah.
all the way
Like
around
sometimes,
you.
like to me, it was confusing because I couldn't tell exactly where I was gonna be shooting. Like
Yeah,
like it would take a couple bolts to figure out if I was aiming right in the right direction and whatnot. Um, yeah, I get it though because that's how it's set for the arcade style playing. Now, as a final thought, does this deserve a prequel or a sequel? Do you think?
not a prequel because it's like a sequel. I don't mind if to be honest with you, I know more likely Konami ain't gonna do anything with it, but doesn't mean because they've handed off like even Castlevania to other people, which they need to do that like because Sega's done that with like Streets of Rage 4. They had somebody else make it, and even with Wonder like if they did a sequel, I'd want it to be hand drawn, cartoony looking, like how they kind of it was still pixelized, but it's still cartoon looking. I want somebody to do it like that. Like I can't remember the name of the company, but it's the same one that made Streets of Rage 4 and a couple other ones. I think they're the ones that's doing the Ninja Gaiden remake for the the new side scroll that I showed you. If they had a company doing that, like Sunset Riders 2 or another Sunset, I'd play it.
Yeah, I think I would play too, and I think they should keep everything the same, like the way it shoots, just because it's an arcade. It's that style.
it's a run and
I
gun
think
type
if
game.
they're to change it to a different style of shooting or different style of gameplay, then it just wouldn't have that same feel to it.
Yeah,
So yeah, if they were to come out with a sequel, then I think they should just kind of stick with. We're not saying that they are.
yeah.
We're just saying like the possibilities if they could or if they would.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Don't dumb it down. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, it's a difficult game, but difficult games doesn't mean they're not fun. We still had fun playing it, even though like dropping like flies, like crazy. It's still fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. So yeah. All right, guys, that's our show for today. Hopefully you liked it. Thanks for watching. If you have any game recommendations for us to play, send us an email at gamechatandchill@yahoo.com. If you have any comments, good or bad, we want to hear your feedback. Let us know your opinion on this podcast. And like I said, game chat and chill. Don't forget, guys, just keep gaming.